Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. We have come on. That don't bother, don't treat my baby. I cannot afford it. Being pregnant for 9 months, no parent nurtures the thought of not having their newborn in their arms, not being in charge of their newborn after the 9-month incubation period or less, as the case may be. We assume it will all be bliss and congratulations from there onward, but that is not the case for a large percentage of parents. Some parents have premature babies, some children have jaundice, some other infections that we require them to stay back and live with fear, anxiety, worry, knowing fully well how fragile these little ones are. Well, I had that experience. As 2 days postpartum, my baby was rushed to the SCBU, which is the special care baby unit, basically the neonatal unit of the hospital. And for the next 1 week, the anxiety I experienced, the fear, the worry, the uncertainties that just clouded my head that period, I can't even begin to quantify it. And my case was not even as worse as a lot of women. I had an opportunity to meet some other women during this period, and that kind of just opened my eyes to a lot of struggles that women, now not how I have switched from parents to women, because it's usually the women that carry so much emotional burden and they are the primary caregiver of newborns. So 2 days postpartum, my baby was rushed to the SCBU, like I was saying. She had an infection. This was a day after she received the BCG vaccine, BCG, OPV 0, and I think HBV. And I was not sure, nobody was sure what was affecting her, what was causing the reaction in her body. We're not sure if it was the vaccine. We're not sure if it was something else. So she went through a lot of tests, like at least 10 different type of tests. Her head was shaved just so they can do an ECG. She had phototherapy. Her eyes were tied for days. She was under the blue light. Guys, it was a lot. Watching her being pricked several times in search for the almighty vein. You know how newborn bodies are. It's not exactly easy to find their tiny veins. It was such a challenging period for me as a mom. I was so anxious that period. I kept wondering, what if it gets worse? What if she doesn't survive this? I just felt she was too fragile for everything that was going on. I put my hope in God, and I was consoling myself with the fact that we were doing our best as parents. She was basically in the best place she could be. So she wasn't with us, and can you imagine going to the hospital, you went to have a baby, and your baby's not with you for days, guys. This went on for a while. My heart broke every time I went to see her. Like every time I went to see her, are they feeding her well? Are they even giving her enough attention? Because of several factors, the hospitals within the country these days, they are understaffed. So many patients and just few workers, nurses, doctors are migrating. Even though they are trying their best, but you can't expect the best in that kind of environment. So I just kept wondering and having fears and worries and all that. Oh well, we managed through the next 1 week when she was on admission. I remember the day my husband told me that her head was shaved. Let me tell you something. When I had my first child, the first thing I asked my husband was, does he have hair? So you can imagine, this baby came with full hair, and then they had to shave the side. They gave her a punk, basically. There was a nurse that was teasing me on one of the days when I went to feed her at the SCB that, oh, we didn't know we gave your baby the same haircut as you. That is, you are twinning, and I just laughed about it. So I couldn't think of how well it was hair, guys. It was not even that important to me again that they shaved her hair. So what? Something I valued so much just became nothing. I just wanted her to survive that phase, to come home with me. So for the next 1 week, she was there being treated, several tests, and they did their best for her. Before that time elapsed, I was discharged from the hospital. During this period, note that I was recovering from my CS, right? So it wasn't exactly easy. I was pumping breast milk. I just started lactating. It was so painful to be using a breast pump. We usually submit our breast milk, and you come back, pump again, submit, label it, and all of that. Along the line, I was discharged before her own 1 week elapsed, I was discharged from the hospital. I had a choice to stay back at the hospital, but I was just drained. I felt so drained because I was recovering. Okay, I was recovering from a major surgery, and I just needed people around me. I needed people to take care of me too. I needed body massage. I felt so weak, and I felt like I was even coming down with something, almost falling ill. So I chose to get discharged. My house is not far from the hospital, so it wasn't so difficult for me to come to see her multiple times in a day, come back home, pump breast, and take to the hospital and repeat the cycle all over again. So, hi guys, so I am about to leave for the hospital to go submit my breast milk, and just reflecting on yesterday when I left the hospital without my baby. It was I don't know the words to use to describe that, but I felt really horrible. I felt bad. And just imagine you left home, you're going to deliver a baby, and then you're coming back without the baby. I felt like crying, honestly, but I just had to control myself. One, I didn't want to attract sympathy. I have faith, and I don't want my fears overshadowing my faith, because I'm truly trusting God to perfect baby's health. So what happened is that she developed, I don't want to be too explicit, but yes, there was a problem, and that was a day after she took her first vaccination, BCG, OPV, and HBV. So the same thing happened with my second son after the 6 weeks vaccine, but this is just a 2-day-old baby going through all of this, so it's really heartbreaking, guys. So I don't know for sure if it's the vaccine, but the coincidence is just too much for me to ignore. And yeah, she had to be kept in a special care baby unit, the neonatal unit in the hospital. I'm just trusting in God that He will perfect her health. And aside from that, I know that as a parent, I'm doing my best. She's basically in the best facility for neonates within the state, and I'm doing my best. So instead of, breaking down and all that, I've decided to focus on the positive part of things, which is the fact that I have this chance to recover fully. I was really still very weak. This is 4 days postpartum, and just within yesterday evening and this morning that I came, I'm way better than I was, because I've been able to take care of myself better than when I was on admission. Yeah, I'm focusing on that fact that I'm having this time where I can actually sleep well. You guys know sleepless nights with baby is new babies synonymous. When you have a new baby, you won't be able to sleep well. So I'll be able to sleep well, rest well, just take care of myself, heal properly, and I'm sure that when she's here, I'll be fully ready and ready for all the sleepless nights and all of that. So I'm choosing to look at that positive part. Thank God that I have a support system, guys. I have help at home. My mom is here. She's pressing my body and all that. Guys, yesterday when I came, I was shivering inside because I was just cold inside, even though the weather was hot outside. So we've been doing like body pressing. Guys, that thing works, so don't overlook it. Like, don't downplay it. That, guys, it works. So it's more like massage, just like you're massaging your body with warm water. So I've been doing that. She has been doing that for me. I've been having hot baths, and it's been so relieving, guys. I feel much better than even yesterday. And also my husband, God, that man is amazing. He slept once I left the open ward, because at the open ward they won't allow anybody beyond the visiting hours, which is just 2 hours. But then once I left the open ward and moved to the side room, my husband refused to go home at night. He would stay there with me. Even on the last night we had with baby before we left the hospital, he was there throughout the night. We're taking turns. Because he works during the day, then he runs around for everything, because I couldn't leave the ward. Sometimes I'll tell him, just go home and go and rest, and he'll be like, no, I'm not comfortable being at home knowing that you guys are here. And because my other children are also not here, they're with my in-laws. So guys, a man like that, get you a man like that, so supportive. And even me that was in this state, I was kind of pitying him that the stress was too much on him, because he just moves around, gets everything. He will run around for me, then do the same thing for the baby. Guys, it's not been easy, but I thank God that these people are there just basically holding us up. My husband, my mom, my help. I'm just so glad that I'm not alone in this. So let me move now before I begin to talk too much. I'm gonna say, baby, I'm always excited to go again. I'm taking 2 batches of feed there. I'll go again in the evening. I'm currently doing this. My house is not that far from the hospital anyway, for context purpose. So I'm going like 3 times per day. I just drive down, drop the breast milk, take care of baby, take a look, ask for updates, and then I come back home and do my regular stuff. That's how my routine will be from now till when baby is discharged. So see you guys later. So 5 days postpartum, I had to start driving because my husband had to go to work, and in as much as he was still coming around, but I had to, have that mobility so I can be moving around. So I started driving, and it wasn't so bad, honestly. I was feeling strong enough to drive, and thank God that the distance isn't far from the hospital, so that helped. So this phase was a really challenging time for us, but eventually we were discharged after 7 days of admission. Yeah, she was admitted on a Saturday, we discharged on a Friday. So thankfully I was now able to go back home with my baby. During this period, I had an opportunity to meet 3 distinct women, which I'll be sharing their story with you. Their story touched me so much and made me realize that people are really going through a lot. You might assess yourself and think, oh my problem is the worst problem in this world. Like the whole world is, my whole world is crumbling. But people are going through a lot, and sometimes it helps to look at such circumstances and console yourself that, okay, I shouldn't give up on life just yet. If this person is coping with this, I can find a way to deal with my challenges. And rather than getting self-absorbed, you begin to look at how you can help these other people overcome their challenges. A lot still needs to be done when it comes to maternal health, and funding is a major part of it. Reaching out to people is a major part of it. Healthcare, a very major part of it. And I feel like with awareness comes the inspiration to reach out to this kind of people. This is the story of people I met here, but I'm sure where you are, there are a lot of women going through similar situations that you can reach out to. So let me start with the first one. This was a mom that had twins in the same ward where my baby was. And I didn't even realize she had been there for long on the first day. On one of the days we got talking, and she told me how she had been there for 3 months. And I was like, 3 months? She had twins. Our twin were still low weight, so that made me realize, okay, they were actually born premature. So she confirmed that and told me, okay, they were born premature. And even though she had been there for the last 3 months, they had been discharged a month before then. But the bills that had piled up in those 2 months was over ₦1 million, and she could not afford it. Her husband couldn't afford it, and she had to stay back in the hospital. So this woman was staying within the hospital. There's usually a small hostel provided for those that want to stay around. I don't know what the cost is anyway, but she was there, and her bill was still piling up on top of the bill she had before. So somebody that could not even afford to pay her bill immediately, she was still there piling up more bills. She didn't have an option. She couldn't possibly leave her baby. She had to stay there. She had to keep taking care of them and, just manage, find food to eat. It was a struggle for her. And twins, guys, even with the help of people, family members, aunties, taking care of one baby is still a lot. So you can imagine her doing that on her own simply because she didn't have the funds to clear herself. Her babies were doing okay as at that time. She had been discharged, but she couldn't afford to leave the hospital. So that was the first woman. Another lady which I had encounter with was within the ward before my baby was even transferred to the SCBU. She, in her own case, I just noticed she was struggling with a lot of things like fund when they come around to ask her to get a particular drug. She was my bedmate, so we were neighbors in the ward before I moved to the side room. But right there, I noticed how people kept, asking her for fund and then the response. And I noticed she was always hanging wet clothes on her baby's bed. That's on the edge of the baby's bed. And I knew they were not new clothes. Looking at the whole scenario, I felt like, okay, this woman may actually need help. So as at the time I was discharged and my baby was transferred to the SCBU, I came home. Thankfully, she had boy, I had a girl, and I had loads of boy clothing at home from my 2 children, which I had gathered together. So I took those outfits and took them to her in the hospital. Before I left the ward, I had told her that, oh, I have baby boys clothing, do you need them? And she was like, yes, please. I was not really sure she would need them, but I was glad when she said, yes, she doesn't mind, she would like to have them, and I collected her number. So at that time when I was home and my baby was still in the hospital, I picked up those clothes and took them to her. Guys, she was so happy to receive them. But that's not all about her. So during that visit, a doctor was with her, a female doctor, and suddenly she just shouted, no, don't treat it. She was quarreling with the doctor, and I was like, what happened? What's the issue? Apparently her baby had jaundice and needed to be transferred to the SCBU. But she kept screaming that don't bother, don't treat my baby. I cannot afford it. Look at me. I can't even pay the fee for my CS because she also had a CS. I can't even pay for the CS yet, and you want to do something else to my baby. Leave the baby, I'll carry her home. I was surprised that a mom was willing to take a sick baby home, knowing fully well that anything can go wrong, and just completely not minding the doctor's advice. But that was not her fault. That was not her not wanting the best for her child. It was just the economic situation which she found herself. She can't afford it. She couldn't afford it, and it is so bad that she didn't even mind if her baby was not treated again because she felt there's no way I'm going to afford this. That really broke my heart. Well, I gave her what I could. I handed over the gift and I pleaded with her to just allow the doctor take care of her baby. I encouraged her that she could struggle to pay the bill later on, but if something else happens to her child, she can't get the child back. Okay, she can struggle later on and pay her bills, but if the child goes, there's nothing else you can do. That was another case which touched my heart, and I saw how much people were really struggling, especially parents with children. The economy isn't fair and a lot is happening at this period. Now, onto the third story. This was a baby who is, I think she's over a year old, I'm not sure, 2 years old, but she had been in the ward for years. So I was curious because this girl is not a baby. Why is she in the SCBU? She should be in the pediatrics ward or something, but she was in the SCBU. So we asked questions, just being curious, and we're told that this girl has spent her whole life right there because her parents abandoned her. She was born with, I'm not sure what now, but she was born with some genetic issues and she needed a lot of surgeries, but her parents could not afford it, so they abandoned the child there and left. So thankfully, the hospital management, other well-wishers have been helping. She has gone through a series of surgeries. She still needs to go through some surgeries. This girl is so surrounded by love. The nurses, the student nurses, they all come around, they clean her up, they feed her. She sleeps in the SCBU, and her story is just so touching, and I just saw that she was surrounded with love. That kind of made me happy that look at this situation, which could have been worse for her. Who knows, even if her parents hadn't left her, she might not have still been able to survive the whole thing up to this point. But I guess she's just favored. She just have the grace of God on her life, and thank God that she's surrounded by wonderful, wonderful people. So this and many other encounters I had during that period, I felt like God wanted me to see these things. Maybe he wants to bet something in me, or he's fueling a passion for something in me. I don't know. I just felt like sharing this with you. Even if there is nothing you can do about the people in my own environment, reach out to that mom. Once in a while, visit the hospital. Help who you can help. Help that person across your streets. Be available for people. Show love to those around you. Many people are going through a lot of things, a lot of struggle. This one is about childbirth, but there are many issues that people are going through. You can reach out to 1 or 2 people. Sometimes you have your own challenges and they look so big to you, but if you just take a look at what somebody else is going through, you may not even feel as bad as you felt, and that may give you some hope to also survive your own situation. Thankfully, we are back home now, and we've been back home for months. My baby is fine. We're all doing well to the glory of God. She's flourishing, and this is an example of what didn't break you can only make you stronger, because baby is strong and kicking, all to the glory of God. I'm just grateful to God, and I'm grateful to all those who were there for us, our parents especially, our friends. My neighbor took care of everything we needed at the SCBU, the whole list of things we were asked to buy. I couldn't drive. My husband was busy running around, doing a lot of running around. So she came in at that time of need and was of huge assistance to us. I just want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to you, Mommy Aliyah. We appreciate you so, so much. God bless you. The advantage of having good people around you cannot even be overemphasized. And I'm so, so grateful that we had the support during that period. Thanks for your well wishes. Thanks for the love on my previous videos. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly do that. Don't forget to do that. Give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate you for doing that. See you in my next video. Bye.